overcome. That one was 21. Here's Benny going to the end zone. Can he make the catch? Yes!
And had confidence that Trebek could make the adjustment on this beautifully thrown pass.
Throws one up the seam. It's caught. Elijah Moore in the open. Left sideline to the 40, to the 30, to the 20, 10, 5. Pylon. Touchdown. Elijah Moore streaks down the left side of the field.
O'Brien looking right and left. A pass into the left corner. Touchdown. 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 Al Toon has a touchdown.
They give it to Curtis, my favorite Martin. Touchdown. J-E-T-S-H-H-H.
From the 24, O'Donnell from the shotgun, Deshaun Johnson, throw the damn ball, the corner, touchdown, tie game at 24 apiece.
Revis comes up with his first breakup. Well, here's the matchup. You see Johnson gives him the stick to the outside, then gets inside, and that's perfect position. The big guy inside the shorter one, but Revis getting in. That's why he's the best.
While I was listening to the show, with you guys up in Benny, I got to work and my entire system was down. So the IT guys had to come in. And remember, PD, when I was on the phone with you and he was telling, the guy who's a Giants fan and then the other one was a Yankee fan, he was just like, when's the last time that happened? It was just all these teams at the same time, especially, when it comes to football, it's like people show love to, even if they're not fans of the Jets.
It's true.
You have some fans that hate the Jets that are Giants fans, and some that would want to see the Jets win because, it's still New York regardless.
Yo, my best friend, Jeff, said he never called me this in my life. Yesterday, I've known this guy 25 years. He said he's a Giant fan. He texted me 2-0, PD Pablo. I'm like, yo, man. I'm like, oh, man. And then, he said he shouted out the Jets, though, and he never does that. Mark, what's up?
What up, guys? I'm just going to say get used to it because this football team is going to start winning games, and then the fans aren't going to know what to do with themselves. I'm telling you right now.
And Mark, I'm doing it again to you. I've been doing it every day. Dímelo.
That's right. I'm telling you, guys. I mean, you got to give the whole breakdown, so I'm not going to, say it all now, but this is an excellent team win. From the coaching staff on down, they played 4 quarters of football, whistle to whistle. They never gave up.
Yeah.
There's a cast of characters. All of whom did great work in this game. When you have that many people contribute, that's a team victory, and kudos to them and to the coaching staff.
Petey and Tanad, and even to Mark just now, the thing about it is I said it this morning on Benny's show. It's like the guys we have, they're all rookies. They don't know what they don't know. So they don't know anything about the history and, we're miserable and we're bad. These kids are young and they're out there the ball. They don't know anything about, we as fans keep saying, we're supposed to lose games like that. They don't know nothing about that. They're just here to play and ball out, and I'm glad they don't know about it because it's just like they don't know what they don't know. So they're just like young kids. Like, look, we don't care. We don't care about the outside noise. They weren't part of this history. They don't know. We're supposed to lose games like that, but we all do. When we were at the bar, we're like, here it goes again. But these kids, they're exciting to watch. And again, I'm glad that they believe in themselves. That win is contagious and great for the locker room.
And that, just to add on to that, these guys are used to winning in college. They're used to winning in high school, right? So the character of guys that we were able to bring in the last 2 years, that's a completely different locker room compared to what we had before. So where, obviously the coaching staff saw that the guys from before didn't have what they needed to be able to start winning games. And that's why, these changes happen. That's why our regimes you bring in a new coach, a new GM, they start fresh. But this one just feels different than anything else that I've seen from us over the last, I'll say 19 years that I've been a fan, that I've been paying attention to this team, deeply. I feel
Yep, and I don't know. Bernard, I
much
can't
better.
hear you. You're in the matrix. You there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me now?
All right. Yeah, better. Yep.
Yeah, but it's
So,
it's completely different. And, that's one thing I love about the way that everything is going right now.
all right. So, you know what? I'm not going to wait any longer. We'll do the, my ritual, do some little entertainment before the show starts, talk for a few. Matt O'Leary will be in, and then I'm going to enjoy this, guys, and I hope you enjoy it. So enjoy this. It's Victory Monday. We were all screaming yesterday. It was awesome. Give me a second. Let me get Ann in. And the name of this song is Running Down a Dream by Tom Petty. A Dream at Life. And give me a second. Just want to fulfill you guys in. We will recap yesterday with the calls from Bob Wischusen of ESPN.
Flacco in the shotgun. Takes the snap, drops back. At the Jet 25-yard line, looks downfield. He's the bomb down the right sideline. Corey Davis. Behind he's going to score. Here is the Jet onside kick try. Braden Mann. Once it left. It takes a hop. Gets to the sideline. It's loose. There's a scramble for it. The Jets think they have it. They do. Flacco takes the shotgun snap and drops. Looks up to see, fires, caught! Touchdown! Garrett Wilson scores! Out of the hold of Braden Mann. The placement down. The kick on the way. Down the middle and good. Brissett fires one up the seam. Intercepted by Ashton Davis. And that'll do it. Ashton Davis takes a knee. And the Jets will win it here in Cleveland.
And with that, we'll open up the Jets Take Flight, 8:30 p.m. Jet Lounge show. For all you guys out there, JETS, Jets. So I'm going to open up with that, a nice positivity. We're used to hearing boos at home. So Cleveland was booing their own team. So I'm just ecstatic of what happened, folks. I can't tell you, first of all, from being at the lounge party yesterday, guys, I got to tell you something, how surreal this is, all right? I got two quick stories. One from the lounge last week. So at the tailgate party, there was a guy, his name is Hector. He'll be on here. But I went back for something to do. I don't know what I did, but I went back and I just looked at the guy and I'm like, wait a minute, what's your name? And he said, Hector. So I said, wait, didn't you used to live in Old Bridge and have, that's where I live. And he's like, I'm like, didn't you used to, go with this guy Julio and have coffee and have breakfast? He said, Pete. And I said, man. He's like, that's you? And I said, yeah. So guys, there's been too many coincidences with this. So this thing is real. And then yesterday, I met NYC Carpenter. Sack knows him too well. He's from Staten Island. And I seen him at the draft party we met, and then I know his brother-in-law. So this keeps getting better by the minute, guys. So shout out to the Jet Lounge and everybody on here. Sack, go ahead.
No, and don't forget my boy right down there in the third row, Big T-Rock showed up.
Yes. Big T-Rock was there. Big Mo, shout out to Big Mo.
Big Mo.
Tommy.
Well, since I didn't get an invite, I can't go.
Oh,
there was open invite, Justin. You've seen many of promos for the last 3 months, bro.
We'll specially invite you, okay? And I was actually, just taking it all in. And we were with Coach Westhoff, and you know, the Jets won on special teams, and it was fitting that Coach Westhoff was there with us. What a great guy, too. You know, couldn't be nicer, respectful,
Dude,
great, honest man.
Pete, I almost got into a fight with one dude for Westhoff. Mike was like, he's like, where am I gonna park? And I says, here, I'm gonna go grab you a spot. I'm just standing in the spot. You know how Staten Island, Brooklyn guys, how they are. So I'm standing in the spot and I'm waiting for Mike. You know, he's an older guy. I'm waiting for him to come around the corner to hold the spot for him. And some guy comes up, you know, he's like, wants to park there. So I don't move. And then I was like, the coach is parking here. And he goes, so? I was like, so find another spot. It's like,
Yeah,
this
it's
is for the
crazy.
coach, baby.
So, guys, I'm gonna, after I just say my piece real quick, Tanat will come in real quick. We'll have a few minutes, but listen, I'm not gonna go on no negative yesterday. There were some definite flaws. Every team has flaws, but guys, we have a star in the making in Garrett Wilson. You know, I thought he would be worked in easily. And man, you know, I love Elijah Moore, and it's nothing against Elijah Moore. And I think Garrett Wilson's going to make Elijah Moore even better. And we're going to have a nice 1-2 punch for years to come. And we'll have a quarterback. You know, it's funny how everybody last week I was playing the Titanic music because everybody was ready to jump ship, cut Greg Zuerlein. Look, I'll be first to admit on here, I wanted Braden Mann gone. But you know what? Hey, they reacted to coaches. They brought in a punter. They signed somebody to put pressure on the guy. And you know what? It worked. Okay. For people that are saying that the coaching regime is not doing this and doing that, they want to see Saleh all fired up. Well, go look at him yesterday and tell me he wasn't fired up at the refs with those horse crap calls, horse crap that almost costed us the game. But we still won in spite of that. So I'm not going to go on. Tanad, come in. You know, that's a couple of things I saw. We'll get into more stuff later. Let me hear Tanad and then a few of you, and then Matt O'Leary will be on.
Thank you, Petey. For me, man, yesterday was just like one of those days that just, it seems surreal just watching it happen live. You know, but at the same time, it was just like being able to watch this young team grow together in the way that they did yesterday, and watching the accountability that, you know, DJ Reed and those guys on defense, you know, take the accountability of the fact that they did not help the offense out at all. You know, we know the defense will show up like they did last week, but yesterday was just one of those games where just like you enjoy everything that is happening. And like Petey said, you find, or you try not to find things to complain about. Even the things that you can't complain about, you try to let them go, because this win right here yesterday could be the win that really helped this team grow so much throughout the season. And not just throughout the season, but this upcoming game, the fact that we have an opponent that is vulnerable, that is struggling right now, and they don't know what to do with themselves. The coaching staff and the players are asking themselves, okay, what can we do to fix this right now? This is an opportunity for us as fans to rally behind this team and to show up to the stadium, be loud, and appreciate them for everything that they did last week. Going to MetLife, make sure that everything can be heard from the way that we're cheering. Like, I enjoyed that one yesterday so much, man. Like, just watching the game and seeing so many people tweeting, talking about the game. When was the last time we saw people tweet positively about the, you know, something that the Jets did? You know, to me, that was just different. But I'm going to give the offenses credit. They showed up even when mistakes were made. You know, Garrett Wilson dropped that pass. When you have when you have Conklin, you know, having another fumble again, those are things that could have cost us the game, but they did not fold. They kept fighting from the beginning to the end of the whistle, and that's how we were able to get that W yesterday. So shout out to these guys on the team, from the person from number 1 to number 53 on that team. You know, they did what they had to do. They showed up and they played hard and they worked hard. So that's really, and I love the grit from the team that they showed yesterday.
And the one thing I'm going to say, and we'll get to Sack and then Terrence, guys, this is a win that we will never forget, okay? You're going to remember this for the rest of your life. This is an epic, iconic win. by this franchise. We haven't had a lot of it lately, but just hold on to this and remember this. Go ahead, Zach.
No, I woke up this morning. Usually during the football season, I don't know how you guys feel, but like we're used to like waking up on Monday morning, back to work, and you're depressed from the game. You're depressed about work. At least I am. And it's like you all of a sudden it's like I woke up this morning and it's not like I forgot about the game, but I was kind of like voice was gone and all. And I get up and have coffee and I'm feeling so good. I'm like, what the hell? Why do I feel so good this morning? Like I'm feeling energized. I'm like, oh shit, yeah. So the Jets won. Like it really affects, I mean, at least me. I don't know, maybe it sounds crazy, but it affects my whole psyche. Like if you come back from a win Monday morning, don't seem so bad. Like things are just better. And that's just because we're such diehard fans. If you feel like I feel, you're in as much as I'm in it, where you just like, wow, the next day you just feel better about stuff. Like everything, you feel more energized. And Tanad and Petey, I mean, never forgetting this win. I mean, it's like the Monday Night Miracle. We still haven't forgot it. We all know where we were when that happened. Some of us were at the game, some of us were not. I mean, but we all remember that game. At least a lot of us, remember that game very well. So you got to enjoy it. And now they build up with this momentum. Football's all about momentum. We got the momentum going into back home. I'm hoping to hear around Wednesday or Thursday Zach's back. That would just be the cherry on top for me. But if we got to go with Flacco, we go with Flacco. He obviously shown that he could do something. But if somehow Zach came back, even better.
So, Zach, for me, I slept so good last night, man. Once that game was over, I was able to enjoy the evening, and I slept so good. I woke up this morning. Usually, it'll be like, damn, it's Monday. I got to go to work and hear some of my coworkers' mouths and see everything that's being talked about on Twitter. I slept good. I woke up good, and I'm like, yep, I get on Twitter. If I see anything about my Jets that's negative, then that means that whoever was watching the game just wasn't, they wasn't paying attention. So that's something that I really enjoyed last night, waking up and feeling that way. Let's go to Rusty real quick. Rusty and then Terrence. Hey, Rusty.
Hey, sorry, I had to drop down. I couldn't hear anybody. Yeah, it isn't even so much that we won the game. It's the way we won the game. When everybody counted us out and that was the end of it, they never gave up. And they pulled off what I consider a miracle. I mean, you look at the percentages of an onside kick being able to be recovered, that's like next to zero. And we were able to do it. And then to score 2 touchdowns, that's just amazing. It really made a difference. And I've had people like on Twitter or people that I know that, they're texting me, hey, that was a great game yesterday. And I don't usually hear that. So I thought it was fantastic. And I couldn't be happier with this.
Yeah, Rusty, just to go back off that, I mean, if you were at the bar that we were at, you could ask that place. First of all, when they recovered that onside kick, it was incredible. Like the place just erupted. And then you look and you see Garrett Wilson, Saleh, Braden Mann, everybody, just that team. It's just like it just revitalized them. Like, hey, we can win now. Like we haven't had that in so long. And you just saw a different vibe from that sideline that we haven't seen in a while. So that's a good point you made up. Rusty, if you don't have anything else, just stay there. And, if you want to say something real quick, then we'll get to Terrence.
No, we can go on to Terrence.
All right. And Rusty, as always, thanks for your support.
Thank you guys for being there.
Of course. Terrence, what's up?
Yeah, what's up, Petey and Tanard and everybody listening? Kind of like what Zach said, when this happened, I was watching every post-game show, the NBC pregame before the Sunday night game. When I woke up this morning, I put on Boomer and Gio, listening as I'm getting ready for work, just that's what, I usually do when the Jets would have, would have a victory, like, in the past. And they've been few and far between. as everybody knows, these past 11 years. So, and then I'm listening to my fantasy pod that I listen to. This guy, he's on every day, Monday through Friday. And, he always like he talks about games on Monday and Tuesday, and the Jet game is always the last game he talks about because there's really usually nobody that's fantasy relevant. And he, right after the Miami and Baltimore game, he went right to the Jets and he started talking about Garrett Wilson and everything else. So it was just like I just think overall, and other pods that I listened to, it was one of those games that were at the forefront that everybody wanted to talk about. So to me, that's a little bit of buzz, and it's just positive news for the Jets. But overall, look, 30-17. At that time, I was a little disappointed because I felt like this team was fighting the whole way, matching Cleveland, and I felt that the refs were holding us back. Like, I still want to know where that holding penalty was on Fant when Michael Carter got it to the 5-yard line.
Terrence, it wasn't. The defensive guy was actually holding Fant. It was the other way around.
That's what I mean. It's total BS, and that's why, so to me, Salah starting like the middle of last year, he's been riding these guys, but it doesn't seem to have registered. And I was at the point where I was like, he needs to, at the post game, start criticizing these guys and take a fine, just so that way people, it gets some type of media coverage and put some pressure on these guys.
Yeah,
but,
Terrence, real quick, I thought too Conklin was a catch on the sideline. I saw no white.
Yeah.
He was inbounds. No white came up.
And
he
even the Gene Serator. Gene Serator, who usually, he even said it was a catch. And, obviously he was like, well, you got to understand this too. Yeah, I just felt,
I'm surprised. I'm surprised they turned over that call on Sauce. I thought they weren't going to overturn it. Remember that touchdown he gave up, allegedly, against Cooper, right? Was it?
Yeah.
In the end zone? Yeah,
Nah,
I thought that.
It wasn't Cooper.
Oh, who was it?
Donovan Peoples-Jones. Yeah, it was.
I thought, I know the ball was moving, but I was going to say they're going to come up with some BS excuse.
Exactly.
So they don't get the calls, and we got to win and start getting calls.
Right.
So that's my point.
Yeah, and I'm just so happy that it seems like there are contributions being made by all these young players, both this year and last year. And again, I think it would have been a total different game if we're first and goal at 17-14 Cleveland, and we're first and goal. And what happens if we go ahead? And then Brissett, has to maybe throw a little bit more. Obviously nobody wants to talk about what could have been, but to me, this team was fighting the whole way. Then that miracle comeback, just great, and again, shout out to Pat Dunn for Discord, able to watch the game down here, I was excited, that's all I care about is, watching my Jets. Like, I don't have to get this big package to see 4 games at once. I don't need it, but anyway, that's all I want to say. That's kind of like what Zach said. It kind of, made me excited this morning. I mean, not that I wanted to get up and go to work, I wasn't that happy about it, but I just meant I like it when the media has a buzz about the Jets, and that's how we break through this same old Jet mentality that permeates, in other fan bases when they mock us, and also I think when the media out there mocks us, the national sports media. So I'm just hoping let's carry it over into this next game. Let's celebrate tonight, and then let's focus on the Cincinnati Bengals as this week goes on.
Thanks, Terrence. Guys, I know people got their hands up. If you do have a short take, if you want to say something real quick, Kenny or Justin, because you had your hand up, then Happy Jet. I don't want to go out of order, because Matt's in now, and Matt comes on a lot, and I want to hear what he has to say, and you can ask him. But Kenny and Justin, do you have anything quick?
Yeah, Petey.
Go ahead, Kenny.
Real
Go ahead,
quick,
Kenny.
I found it very amusing that a lot of people on Twitter, a lot of reporters, basically counted it as a loss before the final gun with some of the comments, and I found it strange that the Cleveland head coach's family was on the sideline with him celebrating. He had his kids behind him. I'm not
I
sure if
saw
anybody
that.
noticed that,
I saw
but
that.
he had his kids on the field celebrating with him on the sideline, and you don't do that, especially with this is the NFL. This is the NFL. You can't do that. And it reminded me of when the Falcons owner was on the sideline celebrating the Super Bowl back against the Patriots that year. But he came down from the box in the third quarter. So, you know what? That's why you play 60 minutes. And that's why when you bet on these games, don't count your money until the final gun.
Yep.
And
Hey.
and Petey, real quick, I'm not sure. Are you going to have Antoine on later?
I was just going to announce Antoine has something to do tonight. He cannot make it. So,
all right, because I wanted to ask him if he actually seen the final minute, because I know
yes,
a lot of reporters, they make their way down when they think the game's over. So a lot of them sometimes are in the elevator heading to the locker room, and half the time they don't even see the final.
Well, I spoke to him. I didn't ask him that, Kenny,
Yeah.
but I did ask him. I said, some finish, huh? And he's like, crazy, man. So I think Antoine probably stayed. So, but we'll confirm that when we talk to him again. Kenny, let me get to Matt.
Go ahead.
Matt, what's up? Thanks for coming on, bro.
Yeah, man, anytime. It's always nice to do it after a big win like yesterday.
Yes. So, Matt, I'm not being wise to you, but I'm sure your attitude has changed like most fans since last week. So just give me a quick analysis of what you thought. I know there was some negatives. For me, the pass rush was inept until Lawson, but we'll get into that later. Other than that, man, we never have an offense like that, like I was just impressed the way Flacco handled everything, and he was calm and collective. And once Clowney went out, I just think the Jets, he had way more time, which is the success to any quarterback. Even Flacco can sit back there and throw for over 300 yards if he's protected. So shout out to the Jets offensive line, but go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, I was going to say, after we were all there in week one and saw the offensive performance, I think for me personally, I was a little bit nervous with Flacco going forward. I didn't know if he would be able to, run this offense to its fullest potential, but he proved me and a lot of other people wrong on Sunday with how he played. I thought he handled himself well. There was the fumble that it seemed like, I don't know, I feel like you could give partial blame to him and partial blame to Max Mitchell on that, but that's really the only critique that you could really have. I thought outside of that, Max Mitchell really bunkered down, and Joe Flacco was solid. All you could ask for. Threw for over 300 yards, 4 touchdowns, had a clutch couple drives there at the end of the game. And I was really impressed, too, I want to say, with Mike LaFleur's scheme in week 2. I thought it was a significant improvement from what we saw in week 1 with the game plan. And I think that made a huge difference.
Matt, the thing that one of the most impressive calls that I saw was the Breece Hall touchdown, where he sent everybody in motion. You didn't know where the ball was going. And I mean, Breece Hall was so wide open, it wasn't even funny. So he did call a good game. He definitely adjusted and called a better second half in my eyes. But that was just the dogfight of a game in the first half.
Yeah, no doubt. Even if they weren't going to win the game, at least you could say, okay, they were in this one. The offense looked significantly better. Garrett Wilson was obviously having a great day. And then the heroics in the final, minute 50 seconds of, the Corey Davis bomb of a touchdown. They recovered the onside kick. And then Garrett Wilson gets to play hero again. I mean, how is Garrett Wilson not the biggest takeaway from this game? I think the Jets have a young stud at the wide receiver position. I was impressed with him in week 1. Didn't get, a ton of reps, but 4 catches and 52 yards is pretty solid. And then just has, his coming out party with 8 catches, 102 yards and 2 touchdowns. It was awesome to see that.
Hey, Matt, thank you for coming on as always, man. I always appreciate your work.
Yeah,
so quick question for you. The way that the offense performed yesterday, like PD stated, like it's not something that we're used to, right? But like you stated as well, the scheme that was put together to be able to get these guys open, when you look at being able to use Breece and Michael Carter at the same time is such an advantage because at any time you don't know who's going to come out the backfield. They were able to use these guys so well that I think Flacco completed the pass to 11 guys yesterday, if I'm not mistaken, or it was like 9. To me, it was just like, okay, guys are getting open and he's able to get the ball to them. But Garrett Wilson, when you look at the way that he's been able to perform the last 2 weeks, I look at it as, and most of us in the Jets community feel this way, there's nothing wrong with him being a better player than Elijah. But what do you see from him that shows you that, okay, he can become a superstar other than, like his ability to get open and, making catches? What do you see from him as a player that says, okay, you know what, he can be the pure number one guy, not just on this team, but to possibly be a star in this league at that position?
Yeah, it's really a great question. I mean, for me, I think what stands out is the route running ability. I think we saw on the fade route just how impressive his feet can be and how he was able to get open so quickly. I mean, that's such a huge part of it, the route running and being able to get open. But, yesterday coming up with the game-winning catch, I mean, that's a really big moment, and he was up for the challenge. He did have a drop on third down in the fourth quarter, which obviously is something that you don't want to see. So if you had to find, one area to critique, that would be it. But to me, I think what I was most impressed with was he was heavily featured. He had over 10 targets, and it was a close game. It was a dogfight game. It wasn't like this was, garbage time yardage or catches when you're up big or down big in a game and, the defense isn't really playing anymore. This was an intense game from, first whistle to the final whistle, and the moment didn't seem too big for him. And I know at times that can kind of be a little cliche of, the guy's a gamer, but I really feel that way, watching him at Ohio State and then watching him, through the first 2 weeks of the season. It feels like he's at his best when the lights shine the brightest. And I think that's really what can make him a true star in this league.
And I actually thought that third down drop would hurt us so much because I'm watching that play. I was like, there's no way Garrett Wilson dropped that. And you can even see Joe Flacco's mouth, too, just wide open and shocked the fact that he dropped it. But it happened. He moved on. And next thing you know, he's catching a game-winning touchdown to be able to help us win. So I love the way that he carries himself and not just wanting to make a play, but wanting the ball and just taking the team, to the next level. PD, do you have any info or do you want me to go around?
Good. I'll jump on that later. Get to Justin, then Happy Jet, then T-Rock.
All right, go ahead, Justin. What's going on?
Hey, Matt, how you doing today? My question to you is that I feel like the Jets are trying to find their identity on offense. And I feel the offense should go through Wilson to be featured a little bit more, just like he was featured this past Sunday. And I also feel that, Max Mitchell back there, man, he's playing better than Fant. What do you do when Brown comes back? Does Brown become the swing tackle on this team?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a really good question. I think that's something that we're going to have to look for in practice to see what they're going to want to do. But it's hard for me to sit Dwayne Brown with his pedigree. I know the offensive line's played well, but I think maybe at that point you say, all right, thanks, Max Mitchell, for, coming in a pinch and playing well. But we're looking at you as a long-term developmental piece. I think if you're looking for the best overall unit, I think they're at their best with Dwayne Brown and George Fant out there. I think, they're both veterans and probably a little bit more consistent at this point in their careers than where Max Mitchell is. Now, to Max Mitchell's credit, I think he's played well above my expectations for the first 2 games. It would be a very tough decision to make that call and say that, all right, now you're going to have to sit down even though you did your job. But that's a difficult one for Mike LaFleur and Robert Saleh to decide. But I think if it were up to me, I'd go with the veteran experience.
But
Yeah,
hold on, Petty. You would go. I mean, Max Mitchell is playing better than Fant right now. So would you? I mean, my personal opinion, I would probably stick with Max Mitchell because he's playing lights out, man. I mean, compared to the way Fant is playing on the other side, I don't know. I would just put Dwayne for Fant and keep Fant on the bench. I wouldn't even play him at this point. He's given up in 2 games. He's given up a lot of pressures, a lot, and about I think it's 3 sacks, if I'm correct.
Yeah, I mean, he's obviously it's been a slow start for him. There's no denying that, and I definitely see where you're coming from. Just for me, based on what we saw from Fant last year, he was playing at a near Pro Bowl level, and I'm not ready to give up on that after a couple of games. But I hear you. I get it. Max Mitchell's been playing well, and if that's what they decide to do, then I'd understand it.
Well, Matt, and that goes to what I was going to say. Like this offensive line stuff always works itself out. Everybody was worried when if Becton wasn't healthy and they drafted Icky, then there'd be too many people. It always works itself out. So I hate to say it, God forbid somebody else gets hurt. Mitchell's shown he could play, but you have to go with Dwayne Barron in my eyes. Like he's a proven veteran. He's a Pro Bowler. Max Mitchell's a rookie, and I just think it's good. Douglas is getting him experience already, so it's good for the team for another rookie to get more playing time.
Yeah, without a doubt. And I think their plan was for him to sit this year. I don't think anyone expected him to have to come in and play, but with all the injuries, I mean, he got on the field and he played well, and I think he deserves credit and accolades for that. But if I think it was up to the Jets, I think they'd rather him sit and develop this year anyway. So I'm with you.
Yeah, guys, I need to rotate some people. If you get, Justin, I'll move you down and get you back up.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah. And I see Mark, but what was I going to say?
You can put me down and I'll come back later.
Okay. Let me get to Happy Jet.
Show some love for the folks back east.
Mike, hang on 1 second. I got Mike. You got to put your hand up in this form, all right? No disrespect, but we have a rotation here of people. I'll get right to you, guys. And if you don't have your hand up, as Sack always says, please, because we got people requesting. So if you don't have your hand up, we'll rotate you in and out. Go ahead. Happy.
What's up, Petey and Tenard? Thank you for taking my phone call as always.
Happy. Good.
What's up, Matt? I had a good title here for your show. But I'll tell you later. I got a good name for you for your new show. We'll revamp it. I got something good for you. But Matt, I'm hearing your tone of voice, man. I'm gonna need you to get amped up a little bit. What's going on here, Matt? What are we doing? Matt, we got to look towards the Cincinnati Bungles right now. We'll take that W. We got that win in September. We're no more 0-13. Let's look at the Cincinnati Bungles. They're reeling right now. So, Matt, my question is for you, very plain and simple. How satisfying is it going to be that we send the Cincinnati Bungles or the Cincinnati Who Cares, because they don't have any fans? It's not like their fans will come into MetLife and take over the stadium because no one watches the Bengals. No one cares. Who really turns on the TV and is like, oh, my goodness, I can't wait to watch the Bengals game? You know what they're going to turn on? They're going to turn on the New York Jets, stepping on the throats of Cincinnati. And how's that going to feel, Matt? How's that going to feel when we send Cincinnati home packing 0-3? Leaving MetLife Stadium?
Yeah, man, that sounds good to me. I'm all in on that. I think this is the perfect spot for the defensive line to really, show their worth. Through the first 2 games, they've been a little shaky, a little inconsistent, but that offensive line of the Bengals has really, really struggled. So if the Jets are to win this game, I think it's due to the fact that the defensive line's getting home against this Bengals defense. And hey, big test for Sauce Gardner and DJ Reed on the outside with some of their good receivers. But I think it should be a good game. It should be a lot of fun. MetLife's going to be amped up and ready to go. And who knows, maybe another upset again, just like last year. I'm in on that. I like it, Happy.
Happy, you good?
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, like I said, I'll tell you guys the name of your show later on. I got a good idea. I think you guys should be some very good marketing. 100%. We should put it on a T-shirt. I mean,
Send it in the group chat. Send it in the group chat.
no. Come on. What kind of fun is that?
Happy, thanks, man. T-Rock,
Always
go ahead.
bro.
What's going on,
What's
Jet
up?
Lounge? What's going on,
Yeah,
Petey? What's
good
going
to
on,
meet you,
Tenard?
bro, yesterday.
Sack, Happy. Yeah, no doubt, Petey. You know what's up. All love.
Big T. Big T. Before you continue, can I say something?
Yes, sir.
I really wish I was there to meet you yesterday, man. I think the energy would have been off the hook, but my apologies. Next time
Oh, man, you guys, I'm going to do it, man. I don't usually start crap, but man, T-Rock wants to guard you, you know, and as a corner and you're the receiver, bro, with sack throwing. I don't know, man.
That's what he brought up. We can definitely do that. We can definitely do that.
Yeah,
Yo,
man.
let
T-Rock
me-
brought
let me-
that Brooklyn energy.
Twins. Let me tell you something. I got that Brooklyn sauce. I ain't never backing down, son. I'm shutting anybody down, period.
That's how it should be, Big T. Stop, talk to us.
Yo, Sack didn't even throw the ball and his arm was hurting already. That's my dude, though. That's my dude. What's up, Matt? What's going on, brother?
How you doing, man?
Chilling. I'll tell you why. I wouldn't even ask you a question. I actually wanted you to actually answer the question about why my man, I would say the potential offensive rookie of the year is a potential budding star, whatever, is because his charisma, his elite route running, his great hands, his agility to change his body control. Should I continue?
Yeah, keep going. I love it.
Nah, man, he's definitely he's gonna open up the offense more. I don't agree with Justin that the offense should go through one receiver. Now, like, the offense should be actually spread it out. They have a lot of weapons, and when you're able to attack a defense with multiple weapons, from attacking the middle of the field with the tight ends to going on the outs to attacking them with running backs running and everything or whatever, they can't pinpoint their defense on somebody else. So as far as me having someone it go through one person, I like a spread offense. I like it open. I like it, AKA Tom Brady, the way my man Tom Brady operates, and just everyone gets love on the offense. So my question to you, Matt, let's fast forward it to the Bengals. Because honestly, I'm a real one, and I don't disrespect my opponent, because this NFL is a week-to-week league. Anybody can be anybody. So we need to come prepared, because the Bengals right now, they are reeling. They are desperate. They don't want to start 0-3, because the percentages of 0-3 and making the playoffs start to get pretty slim. So we need to come prepared against that team. We don't need them. We don't need that line to get right with us. We need to keep them going crazy. So give me 3 keys that you think will guarantee the Jets victory on Sunday.
Ooh, okay, I like this one. I'll say the defensive line coming alive, I think, is a big one. Like I said a little earlier, I think they've underwhelmed a little bit. Number 2 would be Sauce Gardner locking up Jamar Chase. I think he's up for the challenge. I think he's been phenomenal through the first 2 games, and he's the 4th overall pick for a reason. And, in my opinion, I think he should have been the first corner drafted ahead of Derek Stingley. But I'm glad that he's a Jet. And then the third one, I think both Michael Carter and Breece Hall are going to be utilized in the passing game. If you remember last year in the Mike White game against the Bengals, I feel like that was a really good Michael Carter game, because he was, utilized out of the backfield as a pass catcher. And I think, both backs have the ability to, catch out of the backfield, which is huge in today's NFL. And I think if they are able to keep the time of possession up, then they can win this game with that game plan.
All right, real quick, one more before I let someone else speak. The rookie, a right tackle. To me, I say let it play itself out. Let it play itself out. When the time comes, when Dwayne Brown comes back, he's technically supposed to come back probably in the fourth game. So, you know what I'm saying? He's probably going to be, I don't know if you're going to just throw him in there unless he's 100%. And obviously, he's a veteran, so he don't need no in and out or whatever. But, you know what I'm saying? Show maybe some combinations and see how it is. Bringing him in and out or whatever. If not, unless you're going to start him. If for some reason, I don't know, for some reason, maybe Fant ain't right. Maybe Fant is not hurt to sit him down, but maybe he's banged up a little bit. I don't know. He just doesn't seem right to me. But I think it's gonna play itself out right. What the rookie has solidified to us is that my man JD, aka the mayor of New York, made the right pick by picking him in the fourth round. That's exactly what it solidified to us.
Matt, do you want to answer that or?
Yeah, I mean, I think Mitchell's played well. I didn't expect him to come in and play it as high a level as he has. I guess we'll see when Dwayne Brown's healthy and good to go and come back. They're gonna have, like I said earlier, it's gonna be a tough decision. I could see kind of both sides of it. I lean towards the veteran because of the experience, but you can't deny that Max Mitchell's impressed so far.
Let's get to I think was it Josh, then Michael, then Vinny, then Terrence.
Yep.
Who was it? Was that right?
Yeah, it was Josh, Michael, Vinny, and Terrence.
Yeah, guys, real quick, if you guys, we have people with hands up, so just try and be as quick as you can. This is not an insult, but we got a lot of hands up. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, guys. It's always a pleasure being in here. Just
You're welcome, bro.
A quick recap, man. With Sunday, I was at work while all of that was going on, so I didn't get a chance to freak out like everybody else. So I had to keep all that in until I got home, and then I just sat in the spaces and just enjoyed my night from there on. But look, I feel like a lot of people are giving George Fant a lot of slack, and we have to remember that he was in training camp, throughout training camp, going to be the starting right tackle. They weren't going to put him at left tackle. And then week of, they asked him to now go back to playing left tackle. So everything that was on one side has to be flipped over in his brain, and his footwork and his techniques all have to change now. I think exactly when Dwayne comes back, Fant's going to go back to right tackle. I like the rookie. I think I want him to keep playing well, but he still needs to learn. And if he can learn from Fant, even making mistakes, and then they're saying, you know what, the rookie was playing better, put the rookie in, I would much rather it play out that way, because then we can find out if George Fant is actually the guy that we need him to be, which right now is to be a starting right tackle. So my question going forward is, for Matt, with this line, the way it's going to be, do you think Zach is actually going to be able to step up, or is this going to be something that we have to now worry about with, Flacco did well. Is Zach going to be able to, max, put this line and put this talent to use?
Yeah, I definitely think so. I think, the offensive weapons that were brought in here were brought in for Zach, and the addition of Garrett Wilson, I think, is going to help him a lot. Any receiver who can run as crisp routes and get open as easily as Garrett Wilson can is going to help the young quarterback. And, I'm not really too concerned with the offensive line play in Zach Wilson. I actually think he would maybe serve a little bit better because of his ability to move around a little bit more, where Flacco, his mobility is limited at this point in his career. So I kind of understand when he gets sacked or when the pressure gets in, and he can't really escape. Now, Zach has that escapability. He can't bail out on the pocket too early. That's something he did as a rookie that I think he needed to work on. But, overall, I think his ability to extend plays with his legs and the big arm is going to really come in handy. And I can't wait to see him back on the field. I wish he was coming back for Cincinnati. Unfortunately, he's not. But, fingers crossed it's in Pittsburgh and we get to see, 14 games of Zach Wilson lighting up in year 2.
I like it. Petey, you can drop me if you want to bring somebody up.
Stay up, bro. Thanks for the support as always, bro. Appreciate
No
you.
problem, man.
Michael, and then Vinny, and then Terrence.
Thanks, guys. I was just wanting to comment on how, we're all happy that all the rookies kind of showed up and first and second year players, but no one kind of spoke about Ashton Davis putting the bookend on that game by making the interception and taking a knee. So I was just kind of wondering, with like questions at safety, do you guys think that he might be finally showing up after being a 2020, like 3rd or 4th round draft pick, whatever it was? What are you guys' thoughts?
Matt, you can take that one, and then I'll speak on that right after you. I'm gonna make it quick.
Yeah, I think that was his only defensive snap so far on the season, and he made it count, obviously. And I think so far early in his career, he's been pretty good at getting in these interceptions, but I still worry about his pursuit angles in the run game, and I think he can get lost in coverage a little bit. Obviously, I think LaMarcus Joyner struggled through 2 games, and he's someone who hasn't played a ton over the last couple of years due to injury. But I'm not exactly sold that he's going to come in here and be the savior at free safety. I hope I'm wrong with that, but I still think he has a lot to prove. But got to give him credit for making that big play to ice the game. That was good.
So, Michael, I was one of the happiest people in the Jets community yesterday when that play happened. But
that is Tanad's guy. That's
one of my guys. And I've been, I'm the type of person, like, based on what I've seen from him, I'm okay with him getting a percentage of snaps throughout the season. Because obviously he has his difficulties, as far as his angles, him, finishing up tackles and things like that. We all know what his deficiencies are. But he can be someone that, that can help you make certain plays throughout games. What I noticed from that play yesterday, literally, it was just like he was just doing his job. He was just sitting in center field. And then, boom, he just broke on the play and just went in and got the ball, That's what you want to get him in the game for. He's the type of guy, like, he can get you turnovers, whether it's interceptions or forced fumbles. So I was extremely happy for him. And as you could see, Coach Saleh was extremely happy for him because there was no way that the get-back guy was trying to, stop Saleh from going and, jumping and celebrating with him yesterday, man. So it was great to be able to see that, him making a play yesterday to finish the game off.
Yeah, I got to be honest, Matt and Tanad and fellas, when Brissett ran that 17-yard, scramble, that I swear, I said, "What you watch? They have one timeout left, 12 seconds, 13 seconds, and where they threw the ball to Davis, it would have been at like the 35, 30-yard line. They would have kicked the field." But that's my Jet fan mentality, man. I'm tired of thinking this way. I'm just so. Matt, did you think that way too? I got to ask you.
Yeah, I was sweating there a little bit. I was a little nervous that they're going to be able to, come back and get in field goal range because we saw their kicker in week 1 hit a bomb, and that would have just been brutal. But I'm happy Ashton came up with the pick because I'm not going to lie to you, I was starting to spiral a little bit too.
All right, so I'm not alone. Vinny, what's up? Vinny, you going to speak?
Let's go to Terrence. Terrence, what's going on? We'll come back to Vinny.
Yeah, thanks again, guys. Hey, Maddie. Question. It appeared to me uncharacteristically for the Jets. It's been a long time since I saw so many. I don't know if necessarily they were all 3rd down completions, but I just saw so many passes that Flacco threw, whether it was to Wilson or Conklin, that continued drives, and that was encouraging. But the thing that I remember the most is on that first touchdown to Garrett Wilson. They were, near the goal line. You had Elijah Moore in motion. So to me, it just seemed like the Browns were totally confused who was going to get it. Was it going to be a run up the middle? Was it going to be a jet sweep to Elijah Moore, and then it wound up being a pass to Wilson? And and it's just, can you just comment in your opinion on, just like last week, there were rumblings like from LaFleur, the same thing with Mims last year, that he doesn't have, that Wilson doesn't have the full understanding of the playbook yet. But to see this guy just like in 1 week, just basically take over a game like he's like this, like he's this, like, let's say, a guy that's been there 2-3 years and is basically just emerging. But can you talk to that? And also, like, if he can keep this up at this level, just what this does to this offense, because I haven't seen in a long time somebody that on our team in the green and white that can basically take over a game like that, where defenses are going to be like, what can we do to stop him? And even if they do, add a safety help or something like that, it's just going to open it up for these other guys like Elijah Moore, Corey Davis, and the tight ends and everything else. It just seems like, it's the missing ingredient, and this, a little more maturity that, this offense is really going to be clicking.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. I think with Garrett Wilson, starting with, I found LaFleur's comments a little funny, because I don't see how you can go from in 7 days ago, it was he doesn't know the playbook, and then a week later it's 8 catches, 100 yards. So I don't know if I buy that one, but I'm glad he was utilized more on the field. I think it's important to get your most talented players out there, and I think we saw just how much of a game changer he could be. And you're right. I think the last time that you could say anything that's close to this is 2015 Brandon Marshall, where he put up like 1,500 receiving yards and had a bunch of touchdowns with Ryan Fitzpatrick. But we kind of knew that wasn't going to be sustainable, because Fitzpatrick was up there in age, and same thing with Marshall. This is a little bit different, and it feels different because Garrett Wilson's a young kid. He's a rookie, and he could be here for a very long time. And the Jets haven't had their own guy that they drafted at a skill position be this successful since I couldn't even tell you when off the top of my head. It's been a very long time. So I think, there you go. That's too long. It's too long.
That's probably since Keyshawn Johnson.
That's a good one too. But that's 20 plus years ago now. It's time that the Jets got a stud number 1 receiver, and I really think that's what you have here with Garrett Wilson, and that makes life so much easier for Elijah Moore, who will see number 2 corners and less attention. That makes life easier for Corey Davis, who even with some of his drop issues at times, is still a very solid number 2 or number 3 option as a wide receiver. And you have 2 pretty good tight ends who you just signed in free agency, and 2 running backs that could catch out of the backfield. I think it just shows, how versatile this offense can be. And it's exciting because for how many years it's been, the Jets haven't had anything on offense, and that's changing finally.
Matt, I have 2 questions for you real quick. So, watching the game yesterday and noticing the way that when guys went in motion, how things were being played out, it looked like to me like when someone went into motion, they were trying to see if the Browns were playing man or if it was zone. And based on that, corrections would be made, or guys would be able to figure out ways to get open. And then also, Corey Davis. One of the big plays that he made yesterday prior to the touchdown was that 17-yard first down pass that he caught right at the mark to extend the drive. How do you see him being implemented into the offense? The fact that Garrett Wilson and Elijah will be the number 1 receiver moving forward. Like, how do you see him, taking that, accepting his part in this offense to still make plays, but not have to deal with 8-9 targets per game? What do you think about that part?
Yeah, honestly, I think he's probably better suited for that role. And again, I think he's a good player. I just don't look at it like last year. He was really their number 1 receiver. That's what it felt like. I know they took Elijah Moore, but early on in the season before the injuries, Corey Davis was the focal point of the offense, and I don't think that's really his strength. I think he's a nice complementary piece, and he's a little bit different. He's a little bit of a bigger body receiver where Elijah Moore and Garrett Wilson, they're a little bit more shifty, and they have, the speed and route running, where for Corey Davis, it's more about like his size and possession skills, I think. But and we didn't even mention Braxton Berrios, but that's another guy too who's a solid depth, which you can never have too much of. And then what was the first part again? Sorry, my bad.
The first part was the offense. As far as when guys went in motion, I feel like they were trying to disguise the looks that that were given to be able to figure out if the Browns were playing man or in zone. Because I feel like a lot of time when the Browns were playing man, guys were getting open. I don't think that I saw too much zone coverages from them yesterday. And I feel like that's one of the reasons why we were able to get into the offense and get drives.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it's important to utilize motion for the exact reason that you said. You can kind of see what the defense plan is if they're going to be in man or zone. I think, not to bring us back to down times, but one of my biggest frustrations with the Adam Gase offense is they never used motion, and it's like, why? Like you could kind of see from the defense, what you're working with a little bit. So I like that Mike LaFleur implements it, and it gives you an advantage. It gets your guys in motion a little bit, and you can create some mismatches. And I thought they did a really good job of that this week. And I agree. I think that's exactly why they do
it. Thank you. I appreciate that, guys. If anyone wants to come up and ask questions, just so it's not just me and PD. Sack, what's going on, Sack? Talk to me,
Matt.
What's going on, Sack?
What's up, Matt? Hopefully you enjoyed your time at the tailgate. You enjoyed the win this past weekend. And, we go back and forth in the group text with us, and I try to send you a lot of the stuff. But I'm happy you're here. You know how I feel about you, and I'm glad you're here. Guys, in here, I just want to do a quick announcement that to keep things fun, as always. I just gave out a Sauce autograph card. Guess the number 1 to 100. People are still guessing, even though the contest was over 15 minutes ago, but it's usually how it goes. So we're going to do it in here. So at 10 o'clock, I told all those folks, it was like hundreds of them, to come in here. So we should have some incoming people. And that also attracts newer folks that don't really know the great job that Petey and Tanad put on. So let them get in here. And while they're trying to win a Sauce card, listen to you folks. So 10 o'clock, we'll give a special red autograph Sauce card out to whoever is in the spot I pick randomly. So that's all.
Yeah. Thanks, and Matt, real quick, guys, if you're down in the listener mode, I want to hear from you. We always talk. Listen, I always say that hey, Matt, can you mute yourself real quick? Because I'm hearing doubles. Thanks, brother. When I always go back to when I started this show, not me personally, but I was the one who asked Tanad because I was not scared, but insecure and worried about what people are going to think. And so I'm like, Tanad, why don't we start a show and you host and I'll be the co-host. And, and now it's become this and people want to hear from me. Well, I would hope they do, but don't be afraid. Just come up. All opinions matter. This is a platform, whether it's dialogue, whether it's football, whether it's about family, if you need to talk, whatever you want to talk about. We've had a platform on here, with someone who was thrown out of the NFL for drug and alcohol abuse, and he's in recovery now, and we had a nice story about that where a lot of guests tuned in, and we had a different platform and people started talking about, they had family members that are struggling in this. So, don't be afraid, guys, come on up. We don't bite, we're all friendly. We're crazy, but we're friendly. So come on up, don't feel the pressure. I know I'm putting people on the spot, but, we want to hear from you because this is how the lounge gets better. So Matt, sorry about that. But Matt, what I want to just, talk about, which I think was really big, I know he didn't, I don't know if you remember that sweep that Breece Hall got. It was about 5 or 6 yards on the left side. And that Brown guy just brought him down real quick. But that burst of speed, man, this guy's going to break something. And I can't say enough about Michael Carter. I know he was a little upset, when I guess he made a tweet. I didn't care about it, but it was brought to everybody's attention. But this guy he's a second year guy, and it's like he's a veteran already, and he's carrying the load. He's vocal, and Michael Carter's really improved, man. So I'm not saying Breece Hall isn't the number one back. I still think Michael Carter is, but this is going to be a real dynamic 1-2 punch that we haven't seen since probably Curtis Martin and Lamont Jordan.
Yeah, I'm with you. I love this 1-2 punch. I agree. I think you have to give a ton of credit to Michael Carter, who's been, really solid so far early on this year, and actually got, more of the carries, I would say, between the two. But Breece is so close to breaking out a big one. You could just tell. I definitely thought he hit his holes with a little more confidence this week. In week one, I thought he was a little too patient at times, but he looked like a much more confident runner. And one of these times he's going to break off a big 50-plus yard run. And, we'll see the Iowa State Breece Hall real soon. But I agree. I think there's a big step in the right direction for him this week.
Yeah. Tanad, take over for a few minutes real quick, all right?
All right, got you. Hey, Matt,
right
so since we're on that subject, right? That there was a big run that I think he had gotten about 12 or so yards on one of the runs. He ended up getting caught at about like the 8-yard line or something like that before we scored a touchdown. I actually thought he was going to get around the corner and get there. And then the same play that PD's talking about, I was expecting him to lower his shoulders and level that DB and run him over, and to be able to set the tone to show that he's a big guy with the speed and everything. What did you see from him and Michael Carter yesterday, that made you feel really good about, not just the scheme that is being ran, but the fact that, they're able to make plays coming out of the backfield and running the ball?
Yeah, in today's NFL, that's so important, right? To be able to be a back that can be, dynamic as a runner, but also has hands out of the backfield. I think they complement each other well. They both have really good speed, obviously, but you kind of mentioned with Breece lowering his shoulder, he's big enough so where he can do that. That's not really Michael Carter's game, and it doesn't have to be. I think, it's kind of like, depending on the situation, is which back you're going to prefer out there. If you're, in a 4th and short or 3rd and short situation, you probably want to have Breece out there because he's bigger and is more likely to be able to put the shoulder down. But, Michael Carter's ability to make people miss, I think, is an underrated part of his game, and he has some good speed too. So, like I said earlier, I think it's going to be a really nice 1-2 punch, and you have to be satisfied with the progress that both of them has made so far early this year.
And I actually think both of them, not just Michael Carter, but I think Breece, him, like, obviously he hasn't played that many games, but once people are able to see his, his ability to be able to make people miss on tackles, I think that's going to open up, a lot of lanes for him as well. And like you said, he felt more confident this week hitting the holes and being able to, just hit it with confidence. Like, okay, I see it, I just got to hit it and go, instead of trying to retreat back to a different way when running the ball. Let's go to Josh real quick. Let's go to Josh, and then we're going to go to Wyatt. What's going on, Josh?
Yeah. So, no, I just wanted to, just feed off of that with Michael Carter. Michael Carter, the reason I'm a huge fan of Michael Carter. And he's a back that can really do everything. And the last time we had a back that could do everything was Bilal Powell. And that I see a lot of Bilal in Michael Carter, a guy that can, make the block when he needs to make the block. If he needs to make a guy miss, he'll make a miss and try to make a play. And that's a running back that you can't replace. You want the home run like we're going to have with Breece Hall. But with Michael Carter, that if he's in the game and if it's a passing situation, he's going to pick up that block. Or if the ball's going to be in his hand, he's going to do everything in his power to make sure he's going to get that first down. So I'm super excited about this 1-2 punch as well. But Breece, I think next Sunday he's going to break one loose. And I think it's going to be that big one. Just like how Garrett Wilson had his game, I think Breece is going to have a game next week. That's just me, though.
Josh, thank you. Hey, Matt, based on what Josh just said, all right? When you look at, I'm going to come back to that. Let's go to Wyatt. We're going to go to Sack and then Terrence, and then I'll come back to my point. What's going on, Wyatt?
What's good, y'all? I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking too much down the line. I don't know. I feel like I've always been a Corey Davis fan. You know, like I feel like he got a lot of hate last year. I feel like this year he's being really underrated. We're 2 weeks in. He got 8 catches, 160 yards. You know, he's been one of our more productive players this year. What about if we trade him at the deadline? His value's going up. I feel like we have I don't want to say an excess in goods, but I feel like when it comes to receiver, that's one of our like deeper positions. Like we got Garrett coming up, we got Elijah. I like Braxton. I think Mims has a lot of potential. I feel like we have the weapons to trade away Corey at the deadline. Let's say to a Packers looking for a deadline push. They don't really have that outside weapon. Try to get a third for him. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah. Yeah, for me, I don't think I would want to necessarily trade Corey. Like, I hear where you're coming from, and you're right. Like, the Jets wide receiver room's pretty deep. But I think last year we saw, just what a couple of weeks of injuries can do. At the end of the year, Zach was throwing to, but a bunch of nobodies. And I don't want to put our young quarterback in a situation like that. I'd rather hold on to him, even if you don't get that value that you might be able to capitalize on. But his contract isn't really a contract, too, that I think a lot of teams are going to be wanting to trade for. So I think you're just honestly better suited keeping him and keeping that skill set around and having that depth at the wide receiver position because, Jet fans have complained for a long time about not having the weapons on offense. So I'm not necessarily looking to trade that off.
And Matt, I definitely agree with you. And another reason why I wouldn't trade him is because when you look at the things that they're asking these receivers to do in this system, right? If you trade someone like Corey Davis away, now you're asking someone like Mims to do everything that Corey was able to do. And apparently from the coaching staff, Mims is not able to do everything that you would want him to do as far as understanding his X position, his Y, his Z position. So I would not trade him away. And like you stated, the depth, you never know what can happen in this league. So you always want to keep these guys to where, like you stated, you don't want to have your young quarterback throwing to guys that should be, playing special teams or guys that should be 4th or 5th receivers on teams. Let's go to Sack. What's going on, Sack?
Yeah, and like the other gentleman mentioned about Michael Carter can do everything, and Brees is more a home run guy. I'm not sure what film he's watching. Look, last week I got into a battle with our ex-receiver Rob Carpenter. I think a lot of people seen that. So I just simply said he was talking about Elijah Moore is that's him. He is him, and all this stuff. And I love Elijah Moore. And it seems that we shouldn't pit our own guys against each other. But I love Moore. But I said Garrett Wilson's just something special. I mean, we've all been at camp, Matt included, and I see him in person. And if you watch football long enough, you can see who's really, really special. Now, Elijah Moore, yes, he'll put you in the blender. His game's different. And I said to Rob Carpenter, I think Garrett Wilson is him. For the fact that he's bigger. Elijah Moore is listed at 5'9", 5'10". I would say more like 5'9". He needs separation to, for his game, he needs some separation. He's not a contested catch guy. Garrett Wilson, 6 foot tall. He's just as fast as Elijah Moore, has just as good as hands, or maybe better. And he can jump out the gym on those contested passes. And now, it took 1 week for everyone to not everyone, a lot of people to wake up and see that, yeah, we got something special. Same thing with Breece Hall. Look, Michael Carr is a smaller back. And if you want to say somebody that can do everything, that's Breece Hall. That's not Michael Carr, that's Breece Hall. Breece Hall is a bigger back. He's just as fast, maybe faster than Michael Carter. Probably much faster than Michael Carter. Can catch. So we haven't even seen his catching ability. This kid can catch. He's fast. He's if there's such a thing in the NFL anymore as a 3-down back, he's a 3-down back. He can do everything. And now you will see that gradually happen too. So when we all drafted these guys, I said, I love the last year's draft picks, this year's draft picks. Breece Hall will be RB1 eventually, and so will Garrett Wilson will be, wide receiver 1. And I stick with that. And Garrett Wilson, we're starting to see that. And you can't compare a kid that's been in the system a whole year to Breece Hall is his second game. Breece Hall's that guy. So, I love Mike. I love Michael Carter. I love all the guys. This is a good problem to have. So I don't want anybody to infighting here about who's better. And it's our guys. So at the end of the day, this is great. This is a great problem to have. I mean, just 2-3 years ago, we didn't have anybody. We had Frank Gore. So, I mean, I'm just saying, Breece Hall is that guy, and it's going to take him maybe a little bit longer to, get into the rhythm. But when he's going, you'll see. And that's just I want to see what Matt thinks about the comparison with Michael Carter and Breece Hall.
Yeah, I agree with Zach here. I think Breece is the total package. And while there probably aren't very many, 3 down backs anymore, I think Breece is probably much closer to that than Michael Carter is. I think Carter is like a really good 1B or 2A kind of running back, but Breece has more of that bell cow in him. I love both of them. And I agree. I don't think it should be pitting one against the other. And I don't think it should be, I'm a Elijah Moore guy or I'm a Garrett Wilson guy. Both of these, guys that are really integral pieces to what this Jets offense is going to do. But I agree when you talk about some special players, Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall look like they have that in factor. So I can't wait to see more of them. And it's only 2 games in, which is nuts.
Guys, I'm back.
Terrence, go ahead. Terrence, what's going on?
Yeah, thanks, Tanag. Yeah, Matt, we're talking about the running game right now. So that I'm glad, because that kind of leads me to my question. In my opinion, the way this running game will be unleashed is if the Jets can actually get a lead. And so far that hasn't happened, except, in the last 22 seconds of yesterday's game. So to me, that's dependent on the defense making a couple of stops. And so far they haven't done that. Now, I know Cleveland may have had a better offensive line than the Ravens did. And that might explain why, Chubb got 3 touchdowns, but it wasn't like he ran a lot of yards. But between him and Hunt, they were pretty effective. But and it seemed to me like Mosley and Quincy Williams, if they were involved at all, it was like tackling Chubb or Hunt like 8 yards past the line of scrimmage. So, and we know that's not really the defense that Salah's runs forte in terms of stopping the run necessarily. He wants his 4 men up front to rush the passer. But what do you see as some of the deficiencies? Because it seems to me like when it comes to running the ball, the Jets are going to be very similar to last year unless something changes. Especially maybe because we're weak up the middle, but that's the only thing. Because to me, if we're always playing catch up or in competitive games, I think Breece Hall will be a lot more effective if we somehow hold on to a lead and we just keep giving it to him and Michael Carter, just taking time off the clock and basically wearing down that defense. But I think we have to get a lead, and I'm just a little concerned about the way the defense has been playing the first 2 games.
Yeah, I totally get that. I agree. I'd love to see the Jets get out to a lead and see, Breece Hall and Michael Carter try to ice a game. I think that would be the next step in seeing really what they could be. But defensively, in week 1, I was pretty impressed, especially what they did against the run. And I thought, Jordan Whitehead played really well, and Quan Alexander, Quincy Williams, and CJ Mosley kind of made their presence felt. But this past week, in week 2, I don't know if it was Whitehead being a little banged up as part of the issue. I don't think he played as well. And I thought it was a really tough week for all 3 linebackers. After they played well in week 1, but I thought Quincy, CJ, and Quan all kind of struggled. So I think it depends on what version we get, whether it's the week 1 version of linebackers or this past week. I think it's probably somewhere in the middle. But if it's unfortunately more of what we saw this past week, it's going to be tough to ever get to that spot where you have a sustained lead. And they don't have Foley Fatukasi anymore, who was good against the run too on the interior. So that could be playing a factor too. But the run defense is, I'd be lying to you if I said I wasn't concerned at least a little bit with the run defense.
Yeah, Matt. Since we're on that subject, right? Like watching the game yesterday, I feel like the run defense is not bad. I just feel like the gaps when you watch these guys line up, the gap is too much between the left end and the D tackle, or the right end and the D tackle. To me, I just feel like they should, when it's obvious running situations like we saw yesterday from the Browns, they have to play those gaps better. And even on situations to where like the play action was in effect, they would throw screens off the play action. They would even throw the ball down the field on the play action. So what did you see throughout the game from the defense as far as, giving up those plays on the screen passes off the play action and those big gaps, as far as Chubb and Hunt being able to get 9, 10, 11, 13 yards, even with 3-4 guys on their back? What did you see from the defense that tells you that, okay, you know what, this is a major issue early in the season? How do they fix that? Because most of the teams that we're playing, they have really good running backs. You're talking about the Bengals next, you have Joe Mixon. You have the Steelers with Najee Harris. And then week 5, you have, the Dolphins have their guys. Week 6, you're talking about, playing Dalvin Cook. And then you're playing Aaron Jones. So most of those teams, they have really good running backs. How does this defense get that situated to where the running game is not, a major issue in order for us to be able to close games out or stay in games to where we don't have to throw the ball 40, 50 times?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think one of the things that stood out to me, or something that I noticed, is it feels like at times this defense, they're very aggressive. So they play like 100 miles an hour, which is good. I like to see the speed and I like to see the aggressiveness, but at the same time, I think it leads them to be a little susceptible on like the screens or on the delayed runs or the counters, where they're almost over pursuing to one spot, and then when it's cut back the other way, they're out of position, and then a big gain happens. So I think it's a little bit, it has to do with the system and how they play. They play fast, and they are, the running backs, the defensive linemen are trying to get in the backfield towards the quarterback and the running backs as fast as possible, and I think that kind of leads them to get burned sometimes. It's effective against the pass because you have all these linemen screaming in there, but against the run, I think it leaves them open to get gashed a little bit.
And what you're talking about right now, that's exactly what happened on that second touchdown. The one that when Chubb ended up taking it to the left side and DJ Reed wasn't able to get him, I believe. And then also, the one play that Joyner just literally just looked like he just threw his arms at him and couldn't tackle him.
Yeah, no doubt. That's exactly what it felt like. And like, look, last year tackling was an issue with this team, whether it was the linebackers, the corners, or the safeties. I will say, though, both new corners in DJ Reed and Sauce Gardner, I've been impressed with their tackling, but I think we saw a little bit of a regression from the safety and linebacker unit this week, which I think played a big factor in, especially in the second half. It felt like Nick Chubb was just running wild in the second half.
Yeah, that's exactly what it seems like. Hey, PD, what's going on? You have anything?
Yeah, I know Matt, always gives us at least an hour. So I want to thank Matt. And Matt, just appreciate you always willing to come on the lounge, and support us. We support you, and just keep up the good work. And Matt, I gotta be honest, man. I'm still stunned about this win, man. I just can't get all the stuff that people said to me today, because I, of course, wore my Jets stuff. So I saw an extra look or two a couple of times, so it's good to be a fan of a winning, team for at least a day. We got to build off of this. It'd be so nice to, add a couple of wins in a rows, if you know what I mean.
No doubt. And, I appreciate what the Jet Lounge does. I appreciate you guys do a great show. I love coming on. It was a great event in week 1, going to the tailgate and hanging in the hangar. That was a
Yeah.
blast. So.
Hey, Matt, man, you're tall as hell, man. I knew you.
Yeah.
I knew you were tall, man.
He
but,
said that to me too.
yo, I'm like, man, Matt's listed at 6'4", but I think he could be closing on 6'6".
If I stand up straight, maybe.
Hey, yeah, Matt, can you take 1 or 2 more real quick?
Yeah, I got time for a couple more.
All right.
Pete.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Pete, I'm just going to give you the number right now. They just drew the number for that Sauce Red autograph card. It's number 12. Whoever's sitting in 12 wins. So count it out, and then whoever's in the 12th spot wins it.
It should have been in number 1 spot.
No, number 12 in my book is Anthony. No.
First of all, Anthony's not winning anything.
Yeah.
So let's switch it up.
Right, so no.
Mark.
If it comes down to that, then it would be 50 if it's right after Anthony. 50 ball.
All right, so that's cool. Yeah, we're not giving a Jet Lounge member these type of things, man.
Oh man. Wow, and come up here and defend yourself, man.
Come up, Ant.
Is he in the 12th spot? From what I look at it, it would go in clockwise. It's 4.
Well, I'm 1, Matt's 2, Tanad, then Rusty, then you, then defense, Big T, Josh, that's 8, Michael, Wyatt,
Jet Lounge,
and Anthony.
And then you have Penny, then Shawnee.
I'm going to redraw it real quick.
All right.
It is number 23. Go ahead, count that out.
Okay.
Joey Jets, is that who you have, Pete?
23.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Joey
Jets it is.
Right. There it is.
And he's a Ranger fan too. LGR, baby.
Oh, he's a Yankee fan. Damn
Hey,
it.
Matt, I send you a follow, Matt, so you can follow back.
Follow Big T Rock, Matt, if you can. Let me get to Wyatt. Hey, Joe, DM me. All right. Congrats.
I got a question. If the Jets win versus the Bengals, what's the score and what's the game plan? Like, how do you see that playing out if we win and what's the score?
Ooh, good question. I think it'll be another kind of back and forth game like we saw this past week. I know obviously the Bengals offensive line struggled and Burrows kind of turned the ball over a lot early on this year, but I think it would be a shootout kind of game. I think you need to see a similar Joe Flacco performance. So I don't know. Let's go 30-27. Jets win. They let up some big plays, but the defensive line creates some havoc and maybe gets a turnover.
Well, hey, Wyatt, come off of mute real quick. Thanks for coming on. So I'm seeing, is this your real voice? Because it says it's Manisha's burner.
Yeah.
We haven't heard from Manish in a long time, folks.
Yeah, man. I went into hiding. Nah, I'm just joking. Nah, to be honest, once I found out about the burner, I had to check if any other Jets fan was gonna, come take that name. So I had to. It was too easy. It was too easy.
Well, thanks for coming on, bro. Appreciate it. All right.
I appreciate you guys letting me talk, man.
Man. Anytime, man. It's a platform here, dialogue, whatever. Jets. Whatever you want to do. So, thanks, Wyatt. Matt, one more. I'm gonna be fun. I'm gonna be funny here. It's the man who wanted to do the JETS chant, and instead he did MATT, the Matt O'Leary chant. So, defense, you got something to say?
Yeah. So, my question is, for Matt, what do you think about this matchup, man? We got DJ Reed and Sauce Gardner against Jamar Chase and Higgins, man. How do you think they're gonna fare on the outside?
Yeah, it's a really big test for those two guys, but I think they're up for it, man. I've been super impressed with Sauce Gardner, as good as advertised, looked the part ever since he came into training camp. But DJ Reed really has stood out to me in a positive way. I love his physicality. I love his energy. Yes, he's a little bit of a smaller corner, but he doesn't play like what his size is listed at. So I think they'll be able to hold their own. And, like I said, I think, Cincinnati's going to score points. They're too talented not to. But I think if the Jets could just do enough to hang around, that'll be fine. And look, I think Sauce and DJ Reed has given you every reason to believe in them based on how they've played so far early this year.
Yeah, and then thank you, man. My last question, right, is these heading into the season, we were all raving about the defensive line and what type of pressure they could put. But I think with the first two games against Lamar and then Cleveland's quarterback, they're mobile. So instead of being able to pin our ears back, we had to play our lanes. We had to play contain. We just couldn't rush the quarterback. But against Joe Burrow, what do you think, man? You think we're really going to get after him?
Yeah, I hope so. That Bengals offensive line looks a little shaky. I think if there's a perfect time for this defensive line to come alive, it's right here in week 3. And, that's why you pay Carl Lawson. That's why you draft Jermaine Johnson the first round. That's why Quinn Williams is taken 3rd overall. And that's why, you give JFM that contract. They got to show out in games like this, and I think they can.
Let's get it, y'all.
Speaking of that, man, Matt, the Jets are going to have some, I know I don't want to do it. They'll have some tough, cut decisions next year or restructures. They got Lawson coming up, Corey Davis. I mean, they already restructured Mosley. Franklin Myers, I don't think has a lot of guaranteed money. So people are playing for contracts, man. So I think Corey Davis still has, I think Jet fans are a little too harsh on Davis. The guy makes he's had the most big plays in the last, 2 years. So I don't think it's fair to write off Corey Davis just yet. That's going to be my last question.
Yeah, I think that's totally fair. I think, look, like obviously Elijah Moore and Garrett Wilson are going to get more of the attention as the homegrown guys and the guys who, you spent top 40 picks on. But Corey Davis is a solid player. I think, maybe he was in the wrong kind of role last year and maybe focused on a little bit too much. But as a solid player and clutch, as you said, he's had some big plays in his first 2 years already with the Jets. So I agree. I'm not looking to cut bait with Corey Davis right now. I don't think it'd be worthwhile to trade him away in season. And, who knows? Maybe after the season, like you said, there's some contract situations. But if he continues to play like he has so far early this year, then it would be very difficult for me to move on from him.
Matt, as always, man. Oh, Josh, go ahead real quick, okay? Go ahead.
Yeah, appreciate it. Just one quick thing about our offense. Conklin, is a little scary. He was the big talk of camp. Catching everything in his area, and then now he's. You think it's jitters? What could be? What's going on with him? You think it's a psych thing? You think is there an injury? Because he's dropping things, he's fumbling. This was supposed to be, a big safety blanket for, Joe Flacco and especially for Zach Wilson. You think he's gonna finally rebound? It's kind of disappointing. We paid for a tight end that we were hoping to be a sure-handed thing to, almost cost the game if, our rookie didn't, cover it.
Yeah, definitely, a little frustrating through the first 2 games. I think there's been some drops and some fumbles, which obviously you don't want to see. But I think what we saw in training camp and what he was in Minnesota, I think he's too good of a player to continue to make these kind of mistakes. It's a really small sample size, so I'm not going to, write him off just yet. I think he'll be fine. Again, it's fair to say that you could be disappointed with him through the first 2 games. I think that's completely fair, but I think he'll be fine. I think he's normally a steady hands guy, and I think he bounces back.
Josh, thanks. Matt, as always, I'll be in touch. Appreciate you, man. Good looks, and we'll talk to you soon, man.
Absolutely. Thank you guys both so much for having me on. Appreciate it. Appreciate the Jets Lounge.
Always, Matt. Always enjoy having you on, man.
Guys,
hopefully we could enjoy another W this weekend.
Let's go. Let's go, Jets.
Guys,
Yes,
follow Matt O'Leary. Follow his Twitter and his YouTube page. Let me get these guys up. I do have an announcement. I will not be attending the Jet game this week. This will be the first Jet home game I've missed since my Achilles injury in 2011 at home. I'm in a wedding, so my friend's probably listening. He's talked me off the ledge. My other friend had told me it reminds him of fever pitch when the guy missed the game, the biggest game in like Red Sox history. But I think the Jets just had that on the road, so it's going to be rough for me not to be there. But I'll be watching on TV. I'm not used to watching. I don't know how it is to watch a home game, on a TV. I'm not used to it, so I'll get over it. Anyway, let me get to my man Ground and Punt.
Hey, how you doing, man?
Good.
Thank you.
Guys, I just found out that Ground and Punt's my neighbor. Right, Ground and Punt?
That's it, baby. That's right.
Wow. Small world, huh?
I'm telling you, man, this thing's getting crazier by the minute. Go ahead, bro.
So it looks like I jumped on. Obviously, I don't know how long this has been running, but it looks like Flacco's are going to start this Sunday.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct.
That's what the report is. And I feel like, not to cut you off real quick, to me, I think that's, some fans will be happy with it, some fans won't. But at the end of the day, it's like, it is what it is. Like we have something good going into this week. So Zach getting another week of rest, it's fine, but it's not fun because we want to see our young guy out. What next week? He'll be ready to come back. Continue. My apologies.
No, it's all good. I appreciate your input tonight. I also, the way I kind of look at it is that, when Zach, similar kind of thing happened with Darnold too. When these guys sit, there's something about I think Joe Flacco for the first 2 weeks. I mean, granted he wasn't mobile, but he did do a good job of protecting the ball as many times as he got hit. He had the one fumble and the one interception, and I think he just shows how a professional quarterback is supposed to run this offense. I mean, even just the little things, that touchdown pass that he threw to Breece Hall, the way it wasn't a lot of young quarterbacks would just almost telegraph the throw to Breece Hall, and the defense didn't stand a chance with the way that he was kind of just looking straight ahead and would kind of look the defender off. I mean, that was a really good look off to that pass on that pass to Breece Hall, and it just made it look so easy. So I think it's going to help him. And then also too, I think it'll be good for Zach. It's the second injury to that knee, to really properly rehab that knee. I know a lot of people really, really want to see Zach, but if he's the true future of the franchise, and if he's going to be that, you know what? Let the guy fully recover, and then let Flacco have his final day in the sun. He's given the Jets some really good football, and I'm more than okay with it.
And the thing that kind of gets me about yesterday, watching yesterday's performance and then watching week one's performance, it's like if he would have played half as good as he did yesterday, we're literally right in the thick of the game against the Ravens. But you know what though? This is how the NFL is. You play bad 1 week, as a quarterback, and you still feel like you could have won the game. And then you play against the Browns team that we felt like we could have played much better offensively, against the Ravens. Even if we didn't play up to the standard that we did yesterday, but we would have played better. It would have been a much closer game.
Well, I think part of the difference of yesterday's game was there was more of a sense of urgency. LaFleur called a completely different game. He used Garrett Wilson in the slot, and the line played a lot better. I think that's really what it was. I mean, he did run for that one first down. There was just a lot of plays in that first week where, the receivers just were not getting open whatsoever. And then they didn't even have the time to get open either. So listen, some people will watch that game and say that he played terrible. When I looked at that game, I mean, there were so many times we dropped back to pass, and his offensive lineman was at his back. And it was just. I think a lot of other quarterbacks previously, like Darnold and also Zach. Maybe Zach would have escaped a little bit more. I don't know, man. I don't think a lot of with the way Mike LaFleur called that game, I don't think too many quarterbacks could have played behind that line successfully. So I'm gonna give him a little bit more of a break. He didn't have a good game, but I don't think it's as bad as people are saying. But yesterday's game, he was lights out, near 60% completion percentage, 4 touchdowns. And then not only that, like the way that he was coaching up the guys on the sideline that they're still in the game when they were down, and then they had the Corey Davis touchdown. There was like an attitude that he brought to the offense. It's a really, really young team, and they need some better leadership, and he gave them that. So
Yeah, man. What you just said, hey, ground and pound. Can you just put yourself on mute? Because you're in the car here, and I'm hearing doubles.
My bad.
No, it's fine. But what you just said, when Flacco threw that ball to Wilson, too, and just gave that fist pump, man, that was just like that veteran leadership, that we desperately need on this team. And listen, man, we had a young guy in Garrett Wilson carry us yesterday. What really scared me, I don't know if anybody caught it, but remember when Wilson kind of got neck tackled and both of his knees, he was like sitting in a squat position, not a squat, but Tanad, you know what I'm talking.
That was the catch right before. Yeah, that was the catch.
That was scary because I remember remember when Brandon Marshall got tackled like that horse collar, and everybody thought he broke his ankle and he wound up being fine, but that worried me, man. It was scary, man. And he got right up. I was just like, woo, but that was a crazy play.
Pete, remember we were talking about when he went for that catch on the sideline and fell on his back?
Yeah.
I was no way. And the thing that was scary about that, a lot of teams, they literally have grass covering up the entire sideline and the cement is all the way in the back. Remember, the Rams used to have the cement in the back when Reggie Bush got hurt.
Correct.
Now, the Browns, literally about a couple yards off the field, it's straight cement. So when he fell and he's grabbing his back, I'm like, there's no way.
Man.
I was like, there's no way. He's about to miss this game. Game is over. And then he had the guts to come back in, and it's like nothing ever happened to him, man. So that kid is he's shown me that he has some balls. He's he has the grit, and he's ready to fight for this team, man.
Yep, because I said that to Ann too. I saw him come back in. I'm like, yo, Ann, he's back. Wilson's back. And he's like, where, Petey? Anthony, how he talks. And I'm just like, bro, he's in. And then he was up at the top of the screen. And it just the way even Garrett Wilson brought that fire, man. He's going to be firing up that MetLife crowd a lot. I can't wait. Defense, go ahead.
Yeah, so I know I might get killed for this, but it's just how I feel. Ever since I found out about the Zach Wilson timeline, I've always wanted him to come back week 5 against the Dolphins because I feel like Joe Flacco, his whole career was played in the AFC North. He lost to his ex-team, the Ravens, but look what he did to Cleveland, right? He knows their defense. And Cincinnati, he knows their defense, especially Pittsburgh, man. He's had a lot of games over the years against Mike Tomlin defense. So all I can say is I want him to play the AFC North, and regardless of our record, let's put Zach Wilson in for Miami, man, week 5. That's how I feel, because when's the last time that week 2 or not, we've ever had a top 10 offense, right? We've got the number 8 offense in yards, and then Joe Flacco, he's played even against the first game, man. He had no chance. He still threw for over 300 yards. He still had 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, but I was looking at all the quarterback pass ratings today, and Joe Flacco, his rating is better than like Tom Brady and Russell Wilson and Trevor Lawrence, and the list goes on and on, man. That this kid, I'm trying to find it out. I can't find it, but man, he's played pretty fucking good, man. So long story short, I would love to see him finish out the AFC North. I really think we could beat 3-1, 2-2 at the worst, and then let's hand it over to Zach Wilson at home against the Dolphins, and he'll still have 13 games of developing if he misses the first 4. But that's just how I feel, man.
Defense. That was probably the best thing you said about the AFC North, and he's always played it. I'm not going to take Flacco's rating being better than Brady, because Listen, there's no comparison, but that's the best thing I've ever heard you say on here. I never
Yeah.
realized that he played against that whole division his whole life. So, that's a great point, bro.
Yeah, and like with Tom, I'm not really worried about Cincinnati, man. I'm worried about that even without TJ Watt, that Steelers defense. And I just feel that he might know something about Mike Tomlin and his tendencies that Zach Wilson might not know. But the last thing I want to say, we're all being pretty tough on Tyler Conklin, but yeah, he made a mistake, but he was targeted 9 times. He had 6 receptions. That's the second most of anybody other than Garrett Wilson. And a lot of them 6 receptions turned into third downs, and 2 of them were on touchdown drives if he didn't make them catches. So I'm still confident in Conklin, man. These kids make mistakes, but he had 6 catches, man, and like 4 of them were pretty big for us.
Yeah, you know what, defense? I do agree with you on the whole Conklin thing. It's just that the fact that he had a fumble last week that, stopped the drive, and then this week it possibly would have done the same thing. That's why I think us fans are a little bit harder on him, because we saw how the way he was able to practice, this entire summer. We saw the type of work ethic that he has. He even came on with us at the Jet Lounge, with Benny and Justin, to really give us an in-depth look of like what his mindset is like, how the team's mindset is. So we know he's gonna do better. It's just that, when things keep occurring, multiple weeks into the season, you would just expect better from a guy like that. As far as the whole Flacco thing, my thing is this: if Zach is ready week 4, you play him week 4. If you really feel like he's extremely healthy, because regardless, he's gonna have to play these tough teams anyway. I want to get him those reps early in the season, and the Steelers defense is one of the defenses that the way it's ran by Mike Tomlin, that if you can play and you can really figure out that type of defense, it can help you out a lot. But regardless, we're going to go into this week. And one thing I do disagree with you on is you're not worried about the Bengals. I'm worried about the Bengals because they're hungry. Obviously, we beat them last year, but you want to go into the week 3 of the season at home after getting this type of win against the Browns. You want to go in there and beat a team like that. Just literally put their season at the brink of the toilet, because that's where it's at right now. If you can beat that team and force them to go 0-3, that's one less team that you would have to worry about as far as possibly fighting for a playoff spot, if or when we get to that point later on in the season.
And I agree, but my only question for you tonight is this, right? So, like, when we had Joe Flacco in Miami last year, we got to see Elijah Moore's greatest game of the season, his only 100-yard game of the season. And it took a veteran to target him like 13 times for it to happen. And just hypothetically speaking, we just seen what Garrett Wilson did with Joe Flacco. It was one of the greatest rookie performances I've seen from a wide receiver in a long time. And it took Joe Flacco targeting this kid like 9 times or whatever it was. Now, my question is this. Next week against the Bengals, what if both Elijah Moore and Garrett Wilson absolutely destroy it? Kind of like what Tyreek Hill and Waddle just did. I mean, just blow the doors off of the Bengals. We're sitting at 2-1. We're heading into Pittsburgh, right? I love Zach Wilson, but I'm a Jet fan, man. I haven't seen the playoffs in 11 years. I'm not going to pick Zach Wilson over the entire team. Like, if we're flourishing and we have a great game against Cincinnati and we're 2-1, then we have a chance to ride that momentum in Pittsburgh. I have to go with Flacco for one more game and just let him finish off his AFC North run.
All right, I'm gonna make sure whatever it is that they end up doing, I just have to go along with it. But I do disagree on the fact that, remember, Flacco is not going to be here 2, 3, 4, 5 years from now. Obviously, we still don't know for sure about Zach, but you have to put Zach out there to play these tough defenses, and it's his team. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Go ahead, Petey.
No, let's keep it moving, because Wilson's the quarterback of the future.
Absolutely. Let's go to Rusty, and then we're gonna go to Happy. What's going on, Rusty? Welcome back.
Hey guys, defense, I hear a lot of what you say, and I'm not going to say that some of the things that you say don't have merit. I do think so, but this is one that I can't really agree with. Zach Wilson, when he's ready, 100% ready, he needs to play. And I personally think that him playing in an away game is probably the best thing that could happen for him. because he won't have all the pressure of the New York fans and everything. The first time he throws he's probably going to throw an interception. He's rusty. He hasn't had a chance to practice long enough and get the reps that he needs. I'd rather see him do it away than there. And besides, you know, the Dolphins are not going to be an easy team. They scored 42 points against the Ravens. They are not the same team they were a couple of years ago, and that's not doing the kid any favors by bringing him back to that for his first game. I think that, you know, if you think that Flacco, you know, he has the experience with the AFC North, I don't argue with that, but that's why he's going to be on the sideline and can help Zach. So I really think that if Zach is ready, he needs to play. And the Steelers game, if he's not playing next week, then or this week, then he should be playing. Absolutely.
Yeah, and you made great points, Rusty. You know, like you got to play him, and like you said, playing him at home against a team like that, you know, you don't want to do that to your young quarterback. So I'll prefer, like you said, to just allow him to get those jitters away, being, you know, playing in Pittsburgh, and week 5 come back at home. At least he has already played a game, and I think, you know, he'll do much better. But let's go around. What's going on, Happy? Happy, what's going on?
Skip me real quick.
All right, let's go to Frank, and then we'll go to Josh. What's going on, Frank? Frankie.
Hey.
What's going on? How are you?
Hey, well, now I'm a little bit drunk, but just watching the game and enjoying the space. I'm very thankful for you guys, and just want to say, you know, I've been on hold too long, so I'm a little drunk now. So probably ready to go to bed. Just enjoying listening to you guys, and hopefully I can participate more in the future.
Not always. We appreciate you, man. You know, you've been coming on here for a little while. I know you just followed me, but, you know, I pay attention to the people that come on here. So we definitely appreciate your support throughout these last several months, man. Always come back, man. That's, you know, we do this for the community. So, you know, as long as you're a part of the Jets community, or even whatever community that you might be a part of, but we're always gonna.
No, I'm part of Jets. I was up there last week.
I see.
And I enjoyed it, and in this last game in Cleveland, it was great. I thought it was great having the rookies playing, and I thought it was a breath of fresh air. And I'm ready to see this for the Jets to beat the Bengals. I think this is the perfect time. They're having a little problems with their offensive line. I think that Joe Burrow is in his groove. And I'm just happy. You guys get me through my days listening to Twitter Spaces while I'm at my boring job at work. And right now I'm a little drunk. I've been drinking, watching football all night, and I'm right about to go to bed. But very thankful. So
Hey Frank, I got a question for you.
Sure.
I see you work for Barone Sanitation. Do you know Mr. Gualtieri?
Yeah, Mr. Gualtieri, he just passed this over the summer. But yeah, no, I'm very into The Sopranos. That's been my life for the last 15, 20 years. And I represent the Barone Sanitation Southern offices. I'm big into The Sopranos. I born and raised in Bayonne, New Jersey. Now I live in Florida. I'm hoping some of you guys are going to come down to the Miami Jets game on in the first week in January. I'm trying to plan something. So if anyone's coming down, please hit me up. I'm trying to, you know, get whatever I can get together. Drinking a little bit, so I'm wasted by now. So
Frank, I think a few of our guys are coming down. Do you follow the Jet Lounge page?
Yeah, I follow Jet Lounge. I follow all you guys, and I'm happy.
you'll be seeing some of the guys talking about going down there later on in the season. Terrence is also from down there. Terrence is not in here right now. Terrence is actually in Florida right now. So he most likely will be going to that game. So get in touch with the guys. You know, they'll be able to help you if they are going down there. So you could be with the with the Jet Lounge team, whoever it is that will be going down there. But like I said, man, we definitely appreciate you always.
Perfect. Thank you.
Guys, before we get to the hands, there's a tailgate this week, Jet Lounge tailgate. Tickets are on sale on the Jet Lounge app. You know, they'll have Saks homemade meatballs, everything. Good food, better time. You know, also sausage and peppers, skirt steak, hot dogs, hamburgers. If you're going to the game and you need a tailgate, go to them.
PD, before we go to Josh, let me say something, guys. Week 1's tailgating event, it went so well. Now, I only had one sausage because, I was so busy helping out. But Sack, his brother, the entire team, they did an amazing job. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a part of it, but the work that was put behind it and the way the event ended up, happening was just so much fun seeing you guys there. A lot of you guys I've seen on Twitter. So as soon as you guys come up to me, you'll tell me your Twitter name, and I'm like, wow, So it was just an amazing event. Week 3, this coming Sunday will be another one. Get your tickets on the website. Like I said before, Sack did an amazing job cooking. He might be the official chef of the team. PD think he is, so PD was trying to help, and I was just like, no, PD, you didn't come here for that. Let these guys do them. You came here to enjoy yourself. So, so he listened to me. That's one thing.
Well,
he listened to me.
I was the cook at Justin's barbecue, and I retired.
Yep.
So I retired from that, but we're good on that.
Josh, what's going on, Josh? Talk to us.
Yeah, man. No, man. I wish I was able to go to this game, man. The last one I went to was great for the Ravens. So I can't wait to go to the next hangar. But going back to Zach, man, I can't wait for that kid to come back, because the one thing I was a little bit happy about with his injury was that this line can actually gel and it'll start forming on its own, and Flacco can be the guinea pig behind it. So now with the line being the way it is and hopefully going to keep going the way it is, I think this is going to be an offense that this is going to be a competitive division, because watching the game tonight with the Bills, and they're just putting up points. I can't wait for this defense to start, gelling just the way like the offense is starting to gel right now. So when Zach is the final piece of that offense, it's going to be all cylinders, and it's going to be one competitive division. I can't wait for Zach to come back. And I think the Steelers game, I think a lot of people are really going to be sleeping on Zach, because if you think he's not ready, I think he's going to really shock everybody in that Steelers defense. Minus TJ Watt, even if TJ Watt was there, I think with Zach finally being there with the line gel together, it's going to be something. I'm not going to say it's like going to be what just happened on Sunday, but it's going to be something that's amazing to see a young quarterback that we're hoping that he's going to be. But I think that's what's going to happen when he comes back.
So I have a question for you guys. Matt had brought up something as far as the O-line, right? Would you guys really bench Max Mitchell? Because if he's playing well, I would not bench him. I am not doing that. I'm not messing up the chemistry. I understand he's young, he's not experienced, but he's playing well. There's no way I'm taking him out. I'm not making that change to the line again. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, Tanad, man, I've been itching to talk about that. Robert Saleh talks about a lot about holding our players accountable.
Defense. Hold on. We're gonna go around. Let's go to PD, and then we're gonna go to Russ. You know what? This is what we're gonna do. Big T, go ahead since you have your hand up, and then we're just gonna go around and have you guys answer that question. Whoever's in the speaker role, because to me, I think that's an interesting, thing to be able to deal with. But I'm not benching Mitchell. Go ahead.
All right, I'll start that one off. I was gonna say something else or whatever, but I'll mention that as well. I kind of spoke to Matt before he left or whatever. If the line is gelling and the coaches probably pretty much know that or whatever, whoever's playing best is probably gonna play. You know what I'm saying? If Max Mitchell is performing the way he has, he's performing more than admirably. He's actually performing really, really well for a rookie. That is because that's his label now. And let's say Fan is still pretty much shaky or whatever, stuff like that. I think, and Dwayne Brown comes in or whatever. I think Fan's gonna hit whoever's not performing well is gonna turn into depth. So that's pretty much how I think that's gonna roll. I don't think it's gonna roll any other way or whatever. I really don't. It's pretty much simple as that. As far as sack,
Petey,
I'm not
sorry to cut you off, Big T. I just want to say, Petey, from one playoff team to another, Petey, the Mets are in. I just thought I'd let you know.
I was about to say
Yo,
that. That's
and
crazy,
so is
Justin.
I. That's
Since
I
I,
was gonna come in.
Yeah.
there you go. Here we go. Look.
I was about to say that. Congratulations to the Stems.
Yeah, gotta enjoy this.
How long has it been?
It don't matter. We here, baby.
How long has it
We
been?
fucking here.
No. How long?
What's that?
On a serious note, how long has it been since y'all was in the
It doesn't matter.
Jeez.
It matters because
Hey,
you broke a
hey.
streak.
All right,
Whatever.
well, T-Rock, we could all agree with Jeff fans. I'm not going to get into the slander. Don't hate the Mets tonight. 'Cause the Mets are doing
T-Rock,
big
you're a
things.
Yankee fan, right?
Hey, how can I hate the Mets when I'm a Yankee fan?
Yeah.
Hey,
You'll
there's a
be
lot of
rooting for
them.
us in the playoffs after you guys get eliminated again.
Justin, 1 sec. Let's keep on this topic, and then we'll do our little.
No, well,
you
I
know,
was saying
trash
what I
talking
was
for a
saying
minute.
before Justin rudely interrupted me with the horns.
I did that.
Not me.
Yeah,
Well,
that
Pete-
was definitely. You should have known PD had that ready.
No, I was actually when the notification popped up, I was gonna say congratulations to the Mets. They're in. And that's true. I'm a New Yorker or whatever. Obviously, you know what I'm saying, I'm a Yankee fan first or whatever. But I'm bullshit, man. You know, I fuck them niggas. And then, I'm just bullshit. PD's like, yeah, T-Rock is bullshit. Sack, I'm not babying him. I'm not babying him at all. Sack is ready. Sack is fully healthy. Sack is playing wherever he needs to play at. I'm not doing no baby. Oh, play him this, play him. No. He's out franchised, then he's playing. That's it. When it's, you know what I'm saying? Just my man Joe has been way more than serviceable, whatever. He hasn't been a guinea pig. He's been just doing what he needs to do as a vet. So if he gives us whatever 2-2, 3-1, whatever it is, Sack, you ready, brother? Let's go.
And before we go back up to PD, right? This is another thing for me with Zach. He's gonna have to play with injuries throughout his career, right? If he's close to 100%, he doesn't have to be 100%. Because at the end of the day, that type of injury, you would have to be off for months to be at 100%, right? You can't baby him. You gotta allow him to play through it. If he's on the field and he's not moving well in the pocket and he's not able to play like himself, then you bench him because you can see that he's lingering and he's not able to be himself. But if he's being himself, you gotta show, just put him on the field. This team is made for him. You look at these weapons on offense, you're like, Zach Wilson will stretch the field 50 plus yards down the field. He just has to take advantage of the little things, those 3, 4, 6 yard plays, and he'll be a good quarterback. He has the arms. But go ahead, PD. Back to the topic regarding the O-line.
I'm gonna have to go. I like the way Mitchell's playing, but I cannot. I got to go with the proven guy if we want to. I know we're building something here, but Max Mitchell's the future, but not right now.
Can I rebuttal something about that though?
Hold on, Justin. Hold on. We're gonna go to Rusty, defense, and then go to you, and then we're gonna go to Josh since Big T already gave us his thoughts.
Okay. When it comes to the O-line, first of all, I'm seeing a big improvement this week from the week before. And I think they're starting to gel. But I don't know that I'm as worried about Max Mitchell whether we should have to worry about him having to lose his spot, because I don't think Dwayne Brown's going to be coming back quite so soon. They're trying rehab first, but everything I heard was that it's usually surgery that's needed. So if he needs surgery, this is all moot. But if it's not, then you're saying basically we'll just sit Fant down and keep Mitchell at right tackle. And I'm sorry, but Fant's got so much more experience. And by the time that would happen, when Brown would be ready to come back, I think that he's going to be doing fine. I think we need to worry about that when we find out whether or not Dwayne Brown is coming or not. And then we evaluate. But I would say with Fant, if they're going to insist on putting Brown in left tackle, which I don't know that I'd want to go through everyone having to rearrange and rebalance and gel again by bringing him in, because he never was there to begin with. So I would be leery about actually having Brown take one of the spots, but that's just me. Okay, who's up next? Unless somebody wants to rebut anything that I've said, which
actually, you know what? I'm actually looking at it. I was just thinking about what you're saying or whatever. And if they're really gelling and they're really playing and protecting and doing whatever, Brown might actually become exactly what he was actually brought in for, whatever, and see him as a valuable bench piece or somebody or whatever. I probably wouldn't even touch. If they're playing well, I don't think they're going to touch the line.
I don't think it's good.
I know.
And Rusty, to
just let me
elaborate on
jump
what
in
you're
real quick.
saying, I actually
Well,
think the
wait,
bigger
ground and
question is
pound.
going to be the beginning of next year. I think you got to have
well-
Max Mitchell and Becton battle it out if Mitchell continues to ascend the way he's playing.
But they're
And he
also,
gets,
they're
and
also
think about it
playing
too,
George
he's
Fant
only
on
going
me,
to
bro.
put on probably another 15, 20 pounds by next season. So I don't know. What do you think, Rusty?
Well, hold on, ground and punt. I think they're paying Brown too much money to sit him on the bench. I don't think if he's healthy, Dwayne Brown's playing. He's a 5-time Pro Bowler. You don't just have him sit the bench.
I can't hear anybody talking.
Ground and punt, log out and come back in. I don't know where we were, guys. My bad.
Right here, right here.
Defense, good defense.
Tonight,
Yeah,
I got to end this at before 11. All right, I'm gonna end
Yeah,
this.
I'll be quick. Don't worry, Petey, man. But in regards to this question, there's a lot of things that I think about, and Petey hit it on the head with Dwayne Brown. This dude is not only a 5-time Pro Bowler, which means his fan base likes him because they're the ones that vote, but he's a 3-time All-Pro. He was All-Pro last year, so the writers love him, right? So if it comes down to someone like Dwayne Brown at left tackle against George Fant, George Fant's never made a Pro Bowl. He's never made an All-Pro. So I'm going Dwayne Brown at left tackle. That's not a question. Now the next question becomes, who are we going to go at right tackle? Max Mitchell or George Fant? Now, if this trend continues, where Max Mitchell is absolutely flourishing as a rookie, right, that we drafted in the 4th round, who could be our franchise right tackle of the future, against someone like George Fant, I'm going, and Robert Saleh always talks about holding players accountable. Well, if this trend continues where Max Mitchell is playing good and Fant isn't, well, then Fant gets to go to the bench and he gets to be a swing tackle, just like Pete Carroll had him in Seattle. He's not some proven tackle, man. Pete Carroll didn't believe in him. Pete Carroll stuck him on the bench and was like, "You're going to be our swing tackle." So basically the last thing I want to say about that situation is, man, I'm not happy with Fant. You know, he's been complaining about going here, going there, and so if it comes down to Fant and Mitchell, I'm gonna go with Fant. I'm gonna go with Mitchell, man.
Go ahead, Justin.
Oh, one last thing. In 2020, when George Fant was our right tackle, you know who was running for their life? Joe Flacco and Sam Darnold. A lot of us forget, but he ranked 64th out of 64th he was the worst starting right tackle in all of football. The worst, right? He ranked dead last. So that's the reason why he was moved to right tackle, because Brown knows how to play left tackle. You know what I mean? But with Fant, I don't trust him at right tackle. He looked like absolute dog crap. You know what I mean? So if Fant keeps on, if Mitchell keeps playing like this, I'm not putting Fant back at right tackle when I seen what he did in 2020. He stunk, man.
Yeah, but remember, he had Van Roten as his guard, who was absolutely the worst guard I've ever seen anywhere.
Yeah, that was a major difference.
Sorry, I shouldn't have.
No, that's a good point, Rusty. I didn't even think about that. But yeah.
Justin, go ahead. You're good, Rusty.
So we're about to end this. So I just want to give out a shout out to the true Jet fans out here. I appreciate your support and supporting our team. Do or die. Just have faith, guys. We're gonna be a special group, man. We're gonna be very special. I don't think we should be afraid of any team, and that's the best of it. I mean, we're gonna be a very good team for a very, very long time, and I'm proud of our organization to finally get it right. And for you guys that keep saying the core four, no, it's not a core four. It's a core 8 of players that we have that are going to be here for a very long time. That's my piece, and peace out, guys.
There, Justin.
Mike Elias, come on in.
Hey, bro. I just want to get into a conversation with the whole George Fant versus Brown thing. I do want to say that it's not really about this year, so putting in Brown seemed short-sighted to me. I think George Fant proved that he can be a good left tackle last year, and him moving around the line, believe it or not, can affect his, rhythm on the left side, and it's not easy. He had a tough offseason this year. You need to be able to gel with the guard next to you. And he was moving from left playing with Lincoln and then right playing with AVT. I would stick with him. I think he's going to be the left tackle that stays there for the future. So that's who I would roll with. I don't want to move him back to right. I don't want to keep playing these gymnastics with Fant. Brown can just be a backup. Max Mitchell does well, great. If Max Mitchell doesn't, then we'll have to talk after that. I know they were looking at other backup tackles or other options at tackle anyway, but that's my thought. Stick with Fant for the future. It's about the future right now. I don't know what you guys think.
Go ahead, Josh. We're gonna go to Josh and then Ground and Pine and Ozzy.
Yeah. Well, I think that, Fant isn't the future. The future is Mekhi Becton. Mekhi just string of injuries. He's not a bust. It's not like he's Vlad Dukas. He's a guy that literally is just plagued with injuries, and it is what it is. We're going to have to find out. It's something that he's not a bust. With George Fant, he was supposed to be the right tackle when coming into this. He knew that everybody knew it, and then he was forced to go back week of to learn APT said it himself. He was like, it's not a big deal. I've played right guard before. I just have to flip everything in my head. And he had an entire season, an off season, to flip everything from left guard to right guard. And we're talking, we needed Fant to switch everything in his head from right tackle to left tackle. So he needs to change his footwork. He needs to change his blocking from one side to a completely different. And that's going to take a little bit of time. a lot of people were freaking out about Mitchell, but Mitchell had in his first game, he had a lot of people backing him up, and then that gave him confidence to do what he needs to do. Maybe we need to start, okay, we got to back up George Fant now. The guy that, he literally has to switch over week of and be a team player. And he voiced his frustration, and I agree with him. If you're telling me to flip at the last second and then you want me to be perfect at that, that's like trying to get, let's say Dwayne Brown to flip over to right tackle. He's going to say, no, I'm a left tackle. So Dwayne's going to be that left tackle. They paid him to be that left tackle because Makai's injured and George Fant was supposed to stay at right tackle. So I think people are really giving him slack for literally no reason for something that he was forced to do when he didn't have an entire offseason to learn the left tackle. So my thing is that keep it the way it is. And if Brown's able to play, put him at left tackle, and then you put George Fant back at right tackle and let it play out. And if he stinks it up, then you put the rookie back in, and it should improve the line no matter what.
Anyone else? Ground and Punk, go ahead.
Well, go ahead.
Okay, so I think the way it went was last year, Fant played left tackle, had a great year at left tackle. Then this year, he earned the left tackle spot. Then Becton got hurt, and that's why we signed Brown. So Brown is really more of an insurance policy above anything else. I think, kind of building off of what Rusty was saying, I think that you look at Max Mitchell and see how he develops, because there's two things that has to happen this year. Robert Saleh understands that the Jets have to win ball games. It's not just about developing players. It's also about winning at the same time and putting the best roster out there. So if Mitchell continues to play well, I think you got to leave Brown on the bench because he was an insurance policy. And if it continues to manifest, people are saying that Mekhi Becton's the future. There's a lot of people that would not I don't think the Jets could get a second-round pick for Becton right now. So to call him the future is, I don't think is accurate. And I think if what's going to happen is in the offseason, Mitchell's going to put on probably another 15 pounds. He's going to be even better next year. And I think what the Jets should really do is have him and Becton compete next year. And they got to sign Fant long-term. He's been their best offensive lineman for the past 3 seasons. You got to reward the guy. The Jets have to start showing that they're an organization that rewards good players.
I definitely get where you're coming from with that.
Good point.
It makes complete sense. Let's go to Ozzy. What's going on, Ozzy? Talk to me.
Ozzy. All right. Well,
He must be having some difficulties. Any last thoughts? I know it's almost 11, guys. It's 10:55.
Yeah, Mike Elias had his hand up. I invited him back to speak. I guess he went down.
Drop, yeah.
But guys, I want you to enjoy the victory. Big T-Rock, you got something?
Deuces, my dudes. Deuces.
Yes, I got a little outro to play for us leaving this. If you want to just tune in for a minute. Jet fans, it was an awesome win. Thanks for coming on tonight, supporting us. There's a lot of football on tonight. We'll have more people in. I was just texting with Quincy Carter, so I'm hoping to have him on again. I want him to talk about how it is to be a backup after being a starter and explain what Flacco's going through. So he said in a couple of weeks he'll come on again. And, we're just trying to bring you good content, and we're not trying, we are. And, we try our best, and we're doing great. And Tanad and I appreciate all of our followers and listeners and all you guys that support us. So with that, Tanan, if nothing, I'm gonna play Triumph by Wu-Tang Clan, the instrumental. So we'll close the Jet Lounge Take Flight 8:30 p.m. show on that note.
Thank you, everybody. For the night. Enjoy the W. Wednesday morning. You got Natty. So.
All right, guys. Thank you for coming on, folks. Good beat right here, too. Good night, all. See you on the spaces.
Good night.